Tava kathamritam tatta jivanam kavibhidiritam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi grinanti ye bhurida janaha. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees at Star Theatre, where he went on 14th December 1884 to witness the drama on Prahlada, the king of devotees. Despite being the son of a demon, Hiranyakashipu, after the drama was over, Sri Ramakrishna was seated in the box office where Girish Chandra Ghosh, the director, was present. And Girish Ghosh asked, "How did you like the presentation?" Sri Ramakrishna extolled the performance and said, "Dekhlam tini shau hoyechen." I saw that he has become everything. So he is seeing the immanence of God present among all the dramatists, and also those who are witnessing. And then naturally the topic concentrated on bhakti. And Sri Ramakrishna said, bhakti is the way of this particular age, this age. And he earmarked the gradation of devotion. We have seen that in detail, that first it comes to nishtha, that one-pointedness to the chosen ideal, ishta-nishtha. Then it grows into bhakti. The 9 ways of bhakti have been discussed at length, Navadha bhakti, Archanam, Smaranam, Kirtanam adi. And then bhakti evolves into bhava. Bhava is establishing a relation with God. Bhagavan ke saath rishta banana. So this happens only when we become intimate with God. Up to bhakti, it is permitted to be a formal relation, ritualistic. We have to do so much of tapas, so many times of japa. These are some rules and regulations, vidhi nishedha, injunctions and prohibitions. We are trying to get intimate with God. Ghanishtata, abhitakwani. Jab ghanishtata hoga, then we come to the realm of bhava. And bhava also we have seen the 5 types of bhava, that 3 bhavas we have discussed at length. Santya, Dasya and Sakhya. And now today we will start the 4th bhava, which is Vatsalya. We will find that why these are graded this way. That first we start with Shanta Bhava. God is there and we are also here. We don't disturb each other. God is present in His own glory, and at a distance we are worshipping Him, we are having reverence, we are offering our love and respect to Him all the time, nirantar. When we become intimate, then the devotee comes closer to God and sits under His feet. God is enthroned and the devotee is sitting below his position and worshipping Him as a servant. Servant is always at a lower position. The servant cannot aspire to sit on the chair of the master or on the same level. He maintains a distance out of respect, reverence, and of course love. He lovingly serves the master. The master-servant relation. So the devotee is having always an inferiority complex. I am inferior to master, I am never equal. He is sitting at my head, I have to respect him, offer my pranams. Now when it elevates further, then it becomes Sakhya Bhav. The friendship, a position of equality. The person who was at a distance comes at the bottom, now it comes the same platform. He embraces, God embraces the devotee, devotee embraces God. Premalingan. The master usually does not embrace the servant. But when the intimacy grows, then God even embraces the servant. असकही श्रीपति कंठ लगाए. जब हनुमान जी brought the Lakhan alive, लाए सजीवन लखन जी आए, असकही श्रीपति कंठ लगावे. Out of his appreciation that you have brought back my life, my Lakshman, my brother. He was dead by this attack in the battle by Meghnad. तो उनका पाश में वो मूर्छित हो गए थे, and he had no hope. But Hanumanji brought Vaishalyakarani from Gandhamadan and made him alive. But this is a temporary effect. In Sakhya Bhav, there is a sense of equality. There is no superiority or inferiority complex. There is no complex at all. Total frankness. They are equal to each other. Total frankness and feeling identical. Made for each other. Now we enter into more intimate relation. That is Vatsalya Bhava, a very sacred relation. And it is a very vast subject. I am afraid that it is a vast subject and we will try to do justice as briefly as possible, or else it will take a long series of discourses to cover this subject. We are getting, we may think that the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is getting so elaborate, but when we ponder deeply on these points, we find that there is so much of thought, so much of sadhana, so much of disciplines are involved to make the devotee easier to approach God. So here, in the Vatsalya Bhava, what happens that so far the devotee was either sitting in a lower level or coming to the same level. But here the devotee sits on a higher level and God is at the bottom. Here the devotee has a superiority complex. The devotee thinks that he or she is higher than God. God is dependent on him. God is known and all-powerful master of the world. God is one's very own, and unless one takes care of God, he will be in difficulty. It's a peculiar mentality. In fact, God does not require any help from anyone. But the devotee feels this way as a token of his love. And God also appreciates this tendency, and He comes down by the force of love and accepts this attitude. Without protest, lovingly He accepts. This is the beauty of this bhava. But one must realize at the outset that though the Vatsalya bhava is very sacred and very intimate relation with God, but one has to have a long penance of many lives to attain to this wonderful stage of mind. It's not easy. We'll see that though it appears very simple, but it is extremely hard. It requires long penance to make the mind so pure, so loving, so endearing, so enduring. Now here, first point is this, that the awareness of God's power recedes so much that God is experienced as a totally dependent child or infant. This is called that by the coolness of one's love, premer atishajye, the coolness of the love, God takes a smaller dimension. We know that when water is subjected to chill, cold, and even water condenses into ice. So God here condenses, He removes all His power and comes down under the control of the devotee, lovingly comes down and appears to be dependent. God is independent, but here God becomes dependent and devotee takes care of the guardian. When in the Bhagavad Gita we pray to God, Gatir Bharta Prabhu Shakshi Sharanam Nivasam Sruhit. You are our Gati, you are our Bharta, you are our protector. That is true, we are under the care of God. We are under the loving protection of God. But here it is the other way around. God is under our loving protection. And there is a wonderful saga of this relation of Vatsalya Bhava. It's a blessed relation. Now, the devotee takes the role as if like God's mother and lovingly caring the God's every childish need. We have to remember that God, when He takes the role of a child, and it is not always very pleasing, as a child does. Child does not care for any rhyme or reason. It may behave like a childish way, but the devotee lovingly takes care of the child, sometimes rebukes the child, pranks him, but everything with a cord of love. जैसे बच्चा परेशान करते हैं, भगवान भी परेशान करते हैं, तो परेशानियां संभालना पड़ेगा. You know, when that Gopal and Ma used to have this bhava with child Krishna. He'll get up in the middle of night, he'll ask for some food, he'll arouse Gopal and Ma. So Gopal and Ma had to cajole and sometimes used to rebuke. But then she will burst into tears because she has done too much of admonishment to the object of love. Now the As I said that God, we cannot bring God under our control. It is beyond our capacity. Unless God comes down on His own, and He can be forced to come down under our precinct only by the force of love. इसलिए this Sri Ramakrishna saying, quoting a song, আমি মুক্তি দিতে কাতর নই গো, ভক্তি দিতে কাতর হই. I am not at all concerned to give liberation. If any devotee asks for liberation, mukti, I can freely give. But I am very, very careful and concerned while giving devotion. If any devotee, if any aspirant asks for devotion, then I become very, very afraid, concerned. I become miserly to give devotion. Why? ভক্তির কারণে নন্দের ভবনে নন্দের বোঝা মাথায় বই. You see my predicament. Because of this loving devotion, I had to come down to the precinct of Nanda Ghosha Vrindavan. I have to carry the load of Nanda Ghosh. Nanda Ghosh was not a very highly rich person. He had to do some menial labor also. While cutting the tree to carry for fuel, and then when boy Krishna was there, put some load on his shoulder. Bhagavan is carrying the load of Nanda Ghosh, sharing his load. Why? Due to devotion, due to loving relation of Vatsalya. In no other relation, the devotee dares to put God under such errands. But here the devotee is free. He considers God is his very own, and he has this sense of possessiveness. This is an important aspect so far. The servant or a friend does not feel that the servant is my master alone. There may be other servants also. Friend also. You are my friend, but he may be other friends also. But here in Vatsalya Bhav, that I am the only caretaker of this, my object of worship. I am the only person. If I do not take care of my child will be in despair. This ahanta and mamta, these are the two characteristics of Vatsalya Bhava. The child is mine, and the child is totally dependent on me. As Jashoda is an ideal representation, illustration of this bhava of Lord Krishna in Vrindavan. Now, she was in distress when the child Krishna was a very naughty person. It's not that he is not playing the role of God, he is playing like a naughty child. Childs are always naughty. So he is playing the role of naughty child. He'll go around everywhere, and Jashoda has to run after him. Now sometimes he'll miss his breakfast, and then Jashoda has to run around to find out where he is, thinking that if I do not give this food to him, he will go without food. He will be in distress. So her only concern is that the Gopala remains happy and protected. These are the two major concerns. My object of love should be safe, should be happy. For that, I am ready to lay down my life, my all comforts, my everything, only to concern, and nothing else. This is most important. First is this possessiveness, ahanta and mamta, me and mine. The feeling of I and mine are to be obliterated in other disciplines. In the Jnana Yoga As long as you have I and mind, you cannot reach the divine. So you have to proceed through vichara, through deliberation, through discrimination. Not I, neti, neti. This small I must go. We must annihilate, destroy this feeling of I, ahankar, and mamta, mind. The feeling of I and mind must go. In Jnana Yoga, in Karma Yoga also. Karma Yoga, we must not think that I am the doer or the work is being done for me. When the work is done without the feeling of I and mind, then only the work becomes perfect, nishkama karma. It becomes a source of our liberation. Karma becomes karma yoga. Otherwise, karma becomes karma bhoga. It's a cause of pain, cause of suffering. So the crux, the main difference of converting our life from worldly life to divine life is to delink ourselves from this feeling of I and mine. In other disciplines, whereas in bhakti, the I and mine have to be imposed in the Vatsalya Bhava, otherwise he cannot serve. The devotee has to have I and mine, but it is oriented towards God. It is not eliminated, it is oriented, sublimated towards the divine. It is a natural process in our mind, in our system, the feeling of I and mine. Sri Ramakrishna says, Hajar vichar karo, ahang jabar noy. This feeling of I does not disappear. It's very difficult. More you get it uprooted, again it comes back. So in bhakti it is easier. We are not removing I and mind, we are strengthening I and mind. We are enforcing this feeling of I and mind for God. So when we orient this I and mind towards God, then that factor which was standing in our way for attaining perfection helps us to become more perfect. Because I have to be very alert. I have to strengthen my I and mind so that my object of love is not in trouble. In order to intensify our quality of service, I have to impose I and mind, not for my sake, but for thine. So here, the possessiveness and the intensity of bhakti makes us that very own of God. Now in this human relation, we have various relationship. सांसारिक रिश्ता हर किस्म होता है संसार में, परिवार में. The relation between the father and child, the brother and sister, and all other relations, husband, wife, so on. But among all the human relations, the relation between mother and child is closest to the divine relation which is desirable. Is the closest. If you compare that which human relation is closest to the divine relation, that is this mother-child, Vatsalya Bhava. Because it is naturally present in the minds of the mothers. So why is it so difficult? Why others cannot do? Because here in this relation, the idea of selfishness must go. I love my child without any expectation. In all our human relations, there is a tinge of expectation. We want something in return. Vyapar hai, business. I love you so that you may also love me. and fulfill some of my desires. Whatever is relation. The father loves his son and expects that when he grows old, then the son may become mature and earn sufficient to his requirement. It's an expectation. The son may or may not. But there is a tinge of expectation in all human relations. We cannot become totally selfless. Whereas when a mother, she loves her child, and the child, she does not expect, mostly she doesn't expect anything from the child. Child is infant. What can he give? Mother knows. So what is the source of joy for the mother? What he expects? How is she feeling happy? She is happy in three aspects. She is happy to be in the presence of the child. Mother always wants the child may become near her. Physical proximity, mother wants. Mother becomes restless if the child is away. बेचैन हो जाते हैं. This is number one. Secondly, she expects that the child may remain happy. So she will do everything to make the child happy, and the child is well protected. In order to ensure this, what happens? The mother characteristics becomes threefold. Swami Vivekananda says that it is a equilateral triangle. Samakon Tribhuj. Equilateral triangle, and the one arm of this triangle is fearlessness. This attitude makes one abhay, nirvik. It transcends all fear. It becomes bold, courageous. Does not become afraid to protect the child for the sake of the child. Swami Vivekananda gives an example. He says, say one timid girl is walking across a street. She is very much afraid. She has a newly born baby in her lap, and she is somehow walking in the street. And whenever a dog barks, she is becoming afraid, very much concerned, even by the barking of a dog or any sound, lest the child may be injured. Now suddenly, imagine that a tiger comes and jumps. Then Swamiji is asking a question, where do you think the mother will be? The child comes, where do you think the mother will go? And he replies, naturally, in between the child and the tiger. वो बीच में आ जाएंगे, सब डर उब जाएगा, because child is the principal concern. The safety of the child. This is the nature of devotee in a Vatsalya Bhav. Gives this tremendous strength and courage for the object of worship. This is first criteria. Second is utterly selflessness, no selfishness. She is loving the child, caressing it, taking care without a tinge of expectation, which is naturally seen in the living examples of mother and child. In every household we find the mother is taking care of her child. She is spending sleepless nights, taking all the trouble, day and night, with love, with joy, without any even imagination of expectation. What child can return? Child has nothing to return. And her smiles are also not guaranteed. Child may weep and bring lot of pains, but that is no concern. The mother's love does not expect anything from the child, utterly selflessness. This is the second criterion. And thirdly is that peculiar idea of that possessiveness, that God is dependent on me. As the example has said, when this Sri Krishna went away in Mathura, then Mother Jashoda became like a mad person. Krishna Birhay Pagalini Pray. Almost like mad, she is going helter-skelter. Then Srimati ji, Radhika ji, then she was very much concerned. She called this Ma Jashoda and said, "Look, why are you so much concerned and restless? I am the power, Adya Shakti. I am revealing my nature to you. I am the Adya Shakti. You seek any boon from me. Borlo, whatever you would require, whatever you will pray, I will give. Don't worry. And do not worry about your son. He is the Lord of the universe. Wherever he is, he will be safe. He is happy. He is not dependent on your care." But Mother Jashoda says, "I do not care for your knowledge. I do not want to know who my Krishna is. I do not want. I do not want knowledge. All I know that I have my Krishna and he is dependent on me." This pure love has these three qualifications. It is called a triangle of love. प्रेम का ये तीन अंग है. The three arms of the love, triangle of love, pure love. One, fearlessness. The lover becomes fearless for the sake of the beloved. Then secondly, unselfishness. The lover surrenders all its selfish attitude for the sake of the beloved. I don't want anything in return. And third, the lover has a sense of possessiveness, that he is mine and mine alone. If I do not take care, then he will be in distress. There may be so many people around, but I don't know. There is a peculiar sense of attitude which develops from Vatsalya Bhav. That's why it is very sacred relation. And in order to have this sort of motive, one has to have prolonged practice, penance, austerities, to make the mind pure, to become an ideal lover. In all human relations, the love is not pure, it is mixed with expectation. Whenever there is expectation, then the love becomes contaminated into kama. Kama and prema have these two sides. They are almost similar, but as soon as there is an idea of expectation, receiving something in return, I love you and I expect you will love me too. and fulfill my desires, whatever it be. But in this Vatsalya Bhava, I love you and there is period. I do not want anything in return. My happiness is in your presence, in your safety, in your security, in your happiness. I don't have anything else. That's enough, that is period. The Vatsalya Bhava, the lover does not only expect any material gain, but also does not expect any heavenly gain also. This is the important part. Normally the devotees love God not for any worldly desires, but for heavenly desires, for heavenly qualities. We cannot worship God without any expectation. So at least we want bhakti, we want jnana, we want daya, prem, all divine qualities. सत्वगुण का ऐश्वर्य भी हम लोग मांगते हैं, but Vatsalya Bhava, no, nothing. I don't want anything, I am full. I have not come here to take, I have come here to give. Whenever there is an attitude of giving only, that is purity of love. That is expected in the Vatsalya Bhava. So as I said, in this world, the mothers have an age. They are in a beneficial position because the mothers have a spontaneous feeling of this bhava. When the mothers, every mother, when they take care of their child, when they interact with their children, they have a reflection of this bhava. They love their children with their whole heart for their benefit, not for their selfish end. The child may or may not have any response. The mother is always full, happy to be in their presence, to have their happiness, to have their security. These three things. They enjoy the presence, only mere presence of the children, and to be ensured that they are happy, they are safe, they are secure. That's all. So this is Vatsalya Bhava, that God also enjoys this bhava. God also wants, and that's why He loves to be controlled by the devotee. God is independent. But in order to taste this act of love from the devotee, He comes down and enjoys this control of the devotee. He surrenders. So in the Shanta Bhava we have seen that God is our creator, God is our parent. We pray in Shanta Bhava is there in Christianity. We pray to God. God is in heaven, He is our creator, He is our protector, He is taking care of us, we pray to God. So this is the Shanta Bhava. God is our Father in the heaven. But here, we are the creator, we are the parent. The devotee is the creator. The devotee is not seeking any help from the Father in heaven. The devotee here is taking the role of a father or a mother and offering his help for the requirement of the child. So day and night they are worrying that whether somehow or other the child may not be in distress. So when we are in Shanta Bhava, we are worshipping God. And in Vatsalya Bhava, God is worshipping us. It's a wonderful relation. We will discuss this attitude further in our next Sunday class. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavattaram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirasa namama. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. We'll close now with the chanting of the Lord in chorus. Please join with me. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Namaskar.